We were jazzed when we received a review copy of Thunder Alley, as we love Apocalypse Road, another one in the series. But what did we think of it after our first full game? Tune in to find out here on Legendary Tactics. So we just finished our first full game of Thunder Alley. We played a little bit partial games, but we finally made it through a full game. And so we just want to share our thoughts after that time. So, Cax, lead us off.
Yeah, so this was a really, really great game. I would say that I think I liked Apocalypse Road a bit better.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But I feel like this had a real, like, kind of that indie, that pushing and pulling, the chains, car chains, and it really kind of had that feel to it. So I kind of enjoyed that part of it.
Yeah. Yes.
And really the management of your cars was kind of a neat component.
Yeah.
That also came in Apocalypse Road, though.
Yeah. Especially managing with like the damage, and you're getting all this damage, and you're trying to like, okay, like what can I account for? What can I take in? And I really liked, like, I thought when I let Nate win at the end there, I thought I was done and finished, but then I was able to
my other cars
ahead.
Didn't do as well.
Exactly.
First, fifth, ninth, and 11. So, yeah.
And that's kind of a neat factor too.
Yeah.
It's a little bit different than Apocalypse Road, where you have the ranking really matters, because clearly Rob came out of nowhere. I thought with first place getting it was over, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
So, what about you, Nito?
I really liked it. I think the damage mechanic is my favorite.
Oh yeah.
Whether you play, when do you choose to pit?
Yeah.
How do you have to, like, managing the permanent versus temporary damage, and knowing when to push and when to just let it slide. And I love that mechanic. I think it adds a whole bunch of depth to the game and a whole bunch of decision making. And I think I just think it's really, really cleverly done. Because obviously, if you drive slow, you're not going to take any damage, which means you don't have to pit very often. Yeah. But if you push your cars trying to get to the finish line, then you can hamper, if the game, if you misjudge that, as you were saying towards the end, if you had to hold back on taking damage, because if you took damage, you wouldn't have been able to finish the race.
Exactly,
maybe, right?
Exactly,
so,
yeah.
So it's interesting.
What did you guys think of the event deck? I was just kind of like mulling on that right now. And I mean, some of the events, it felt to me that they were like, it was a real mixed bag. Like you could get like really powerful, not powerful, but you get like neutral events more. There was actually one event that we did get in another game where it was remove some damage.
Yes, which was
that's kind of neat. So I mean, there's like a whole mixed bag in there. Did you feel that worked?
I think it's great. What do you think, Rob?
Yeah, I was really surprised when the first one we flipped over, we got each team may return one token, and I was like, oh,
so we did get that this game.
It's handy.
It was very
kind of surprising, because you kind of get used to it being like everything's going to be harsh on you.
Yes,
and then when you get this little bone giving you, like, what? The little nugget.
Mechanic was really cool.
Yeah. Wait, sorry, Rob, we missed you. What did you like best about it?
Yeah, I think I did like the kind of like pushing and pulling, and you're like, I noticed, like, if you let yourself like kind of go with the flow, like even like you can take advantage at the last minute and just kind of jump ahead of everybody, right? And so, but you had to be careful, not using your turn too early or going to be too late, because then someone pulls ahead and leaves you in the dust, right? So it's like it's a real management of that, and it was fun. It was fun to be able to like to gauge your time and then your damage as well, like the permanent versus temporary was great. So
that's good.
Any drawbacks, Nato?
I don't think so. I think that there's nothing really comes to mind just after the first game, except maybe in some ways I feel and I had the same issue with Apocalypse Road. It may be a little bit long for what it is, in the sense that we played for probably an hour and a half, to play the full game. I mean, it's fine. It's
playtime,
fun. I didn't feel bored. I always felt engaged.
True. Yeah.
But then I look at the clock. I'm like, oh, that's 90 minutes.
Long.
That's a little bit long for what it's trying to do. That's just. I had the same issue with Apocalypse Road as well, though. So
and so what I would say is Apocalypse Road, when we played that one, I blinked and the game was over.
Yeah,
and it was like, where did the time go? This one felt a little more like it overstayed its welcome, just a little bit more, I would say. Yeah, it just felt like it could have had. I don't know. Maybe
but was there anything else that you disliked?
One thing that I think I would be aware of is just the luck dependence of your cards, right? And that's true. You're kind of at the mercy of the hand you have.
Yeah,
and card management is a part of gaming, and so you got to kind of be able to deal with that. But you can get stiffed.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
And it did happen to me in the game a couple times where I had and I just had no way to really navigate.
But is that only because you don't want to pull the other cards.
That could be. That could be that too.
Yeah.
And you are, you kind of are the master of your own ship there. You can decide to keep or throw cards, and so there is that option.
There's a lot less solo movement. I know. I'm pretty sure in this deck compared to Apocalypse Road, because it always felt I'd always had solo movement options with Apocalypse Road, but this one it's like, ooh, a solo card.
So
it's much more drafting than Apocalypse Road is. But anyway, What about you, Rob? Is there anything that you would improve or anything that you would?
I thought it was great. I'm actually you guys have chatted about Apocalypse Road a couple times, and I haven't been able to
just imagine this game, except you can shoot at each other.
Yeah, exactly.
Same game,
same feel for sure.
I don't imagine Jeff Gordon would be doing that in NASCAR or something. But no, I thought it was great. I think the mechanics were decent, and maybe the card movement, but that is managing cards too, and like knowing I have 5 cards that'll give me damage, so which cards am I gonna make give to my cards or my cars, and then so it is but then the bone that you get from the event cards actually kind of helped sometimes pick it up again. You're like, oh good, and then also being able to pit easily on the when we had the what you call it when we all moved our cars forward at the end of the turn.
The yellow flag.
The yellow flag.
When
We got a yellow flag, and we
that is kind of a real neat catch up.
That was a very very handy
catch up mechanic. It doesn't mean the cars move up that much. It's always the same cars trailing.
Still
but they had a
lose.
shot at least.
Exactly. Yeah.
The only other comment is the rules. I mean, the rules are there's 11 pages of rules.
That's not a
which
lot
is not
for
a lot.
GMT. No,
that's not a lot. I did for some reason find them a little bit intimidating to read initially, but I find that the rules are actually pretty good. And once especially if you have played Apocalypse Road, you should be able to pick this up pretty easily. Yeah. Okay. So, any other final thoughts?
It's a pretty good racing game.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of racing game genre games out there. There's a few, and they're becoming actually more popular. Yeah. But I think that is becoming, it's kind of got a little corner of the market there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think that this type of game is, there's a few more coming out now, like Heat and a couple others. But this is just a fun. I don't know. I think it's really fun.
And there's some map selection too, so it keeps it kind of fresh. There's I think 4 different maps.
Yep, 4 different maps.
So that's kind of neat as well. So
And what about you, Rob? Any final thoughts?
Yeah, I think it was good, and I think I'd play it again.
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's really the test of any game. That's would you play it again?
Exactly.
So.
Yeah. Cool.
All right. Well, thanks so much for listening to our thoughts on Thunder Alley. Sorry. And anyway, if you could. Like and subscribe at the bottom if you have a chance. That would be great if you enjoyed this content. And until next time, get out there,
get gaming,
and be legendary.